Hi everyone, good morning to you all. I am Saurabh from Canada, and here I have my friend Shivam. So we are starting this new podcast series because both of us have been kind of reading up a bit on philosophy. So I've been reading some books. My friend Shivam has been reading some books, and we thought it'll be good to share what we have been reading, right? Because it's always nice to share your knowledge with everyone. So today, what we are going to do on this podcast is not discuss some advanced level philosophy like uh, let's get down to the serious questions. Shivam, have you thought about your death?
Kazombe.
So we are not going to
Ah,
do this on this podcast. So the topic we are going to discuss today is free will. And free will is something that has been, has caught the attention of researchers, even people in the religious world, neuroscientists. It's one topic that has been quite a bit in the air for a long time now. So we will look at what free will is. Then I'm going to give some points for free will, and then Shivam is going to give his perspective on free will. So yeah, let's get started, right? So free will, I think the from my research, free will came from this term initially was coined by Christian theologist. There's this branch of Christian theology called theodicy, which tells that free will exists because God granted the power to humans to exercise free will, and if you don't use it properly, you're going to face the consequences, and that's why suffering happens. So, like Adam, when he took the fruit in the Garden of Eden, which he was not supposed to, and that's when suffering happened to him, right? And like if you look at the dharmic fold, how dharmic fold uh, understands free will is it's not it's the term is not free will over there. It's generally called agentship or doership. Uh, and it's more about freedom. And so, like, there is a bit contrast in how each fold determines what free will is. So, yeah, like with this background, let's just get started, right? So, what is free will, right? Free will is basically, as the term says, I am free to do whatever I want. I am free from all my actions. My actions are independent of any external entity or so. So, any simple thing. If I want to, suppose I have this pen, I want to throw it, I threw it, right? So, and that action is totally free according to free will. But actually, now I'll try to give some points as to why I think it is not. So, the first point that I'll say is this metaphysical argument that says that every event is an action in time. So, everything that we do is an event in time, and every event in time is preceded by a cause. So everything happens because there's a cause. So any event is causally linked. So let's get more deeper into this. So the fact that I raised this pen, where did that how did that happen? So my I can say that my brain sent a signal to the spinal cord, which sent a signal to the neurons, and finally I picked and threw this pen, right? But if you trace it back, how did the neurons fire off in the second, right? What was the ultimate thing that led to the neurons finally picking up the pen? So if you trace it back, uh, I raised this pen because initially I got a desire or a will to pick up this pen, right? And where did that desire or will come from? It came from a thought, right? And do you think we have control in our thoughts? I don't think so. Like try what you will think in the next 5 minutes, or try not thinking about something for the next 2 or 3 minutes. I bet you can't, because I don't think we have any control in our thoughts. The fact that we are doing this podcast right now, uh, where did this thought spring up to do a discussion on free will? Okay, you can say I was reading some book and then I got inspired. Then why did I read some book? Because something happened. Why did that something happen? If you keep tracing it back, you will eventually realize that it's a black box, and you can't trace the ultimate reason. So that proves that it is uh, not free. even if you think, even if you feel it is, but it is actually not. And the second argument could be the religious argument, which says if you believe in God, or you can call it nature, God, Brahman, whatever. If you believe in God, then you necessarily believe that God is omnipresent and he's omniscient. So the fact that God is omniscient, or in Sanskrit, Sarvagya, means that before you do something, the outcome, somebody is there, some nature or some entity or some unmanifest or some autonomous power is there which already knows what you're going to do, right? Then how is it free if somebody already knows? And then there is yeah, these are the 2 points that I wanted to mention, and I also want to show what neuroscience has said about free will, right? So let me share my one an experiment by a very eminent researcher. He's called uh, Benjamin Benjamin Libet. So he was a very famous American neuroscientist, and he also won a Nobel Prize in the field of psychology. So he did an experiment where he asked the people participating in the research to pick up to do a simple activity, to press a knob, or and their brain activity was being monitored by something called EEG electrodes. Here you can see, if you read through this article, which we can share with you. And he asked his participants to, the moment they record, the thought came to their mind to press the knob, they should record that time. And that was being processed by the EEG electrodes. And what he saw in his research, that even before the participants decided to, the thought came to, the conscious thought came to press the knob, the brain activity started much before that. So that proves that that brain activity sprung up from somewhere that we don't know. Like if you read here, it was noted that the brain activity involved in the initiation of the action uh, approximately started approximately 500 milliseconds before the trial ended with the pushing of the button. So here it says, like this, that is to say, researchers recorded mounting brain activity related to the resultant action as many as 300 milliseconds before subjects even reported the first awareness of the conscious will to act. So yeah, that kind of proves, right, that it was the thought was the events that were happening preceding to the thought were actually set up much before by some mysterious power, right? And if you look at some other texts, like if you've read the Mahabharata, where the dialogue between Duryodhana and Sri Krishna, where Sri Krishna asked Duryodhana, "Why are you doing this?" And then Duryodhana, in such a subtle way, he's being so honest, and he says that I don't know why I'm doing this. I know this is the wrong thing, but there's some mysterious power that is guiding me what to do. That guides me to do this thing. He knows that it's wrong, but he still does it, and he doesn't know why he's doing it. So and he says there's some mysterious power that is guiding him to do so. And there's one more. If you've read the Bhagavad Gita, I would like to quote one more shloka from there, in chapter 3, verse 27. So here it says there's this very good shloka that I really like. It says, "Prakritiya kriya manani gune karmani sarvasha ahankar vibhud atma karta himati manyate." Which say, where Lord Krishna is saying that all activities are carried out by three modes of nature. But in ignorance, the soul, deluded by false identification with the body, thinks of itself as the doer, right? So like here Krishna is saying that everything that happens is done by Prakriti, not by us, not by any external thing, but by Prakriti. Nature alone does everything in this world. Then where does the construct of free will come here? So yeah, these are some few points I wanted to make right now, and then I'll pass it on to Shivam to share what is his perspective, and we'll continue from there. Shivam, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Saurabh. So, as he already discussed, there are a lot of valid points in his claims. But like based on however I have seen the world and whatever my perspective is, the way I have interpreted, whether it be Gita or any other thing, I'll just try to revise on all those concepts. So I do agree that as a human being or as anything that is revolving around you, there is an influence of everything. You can like it's called a butterfly effect. So some even when a butterfly moves its wings, it creates a disturbance which could cause tornadoes at some far away. And this effect is very commonly discussed among a lot of places, like not just in psychological effects on your mind, but even the physical world. This effect is very relevant. And I try to see the world, I try to connect and make linkages. So I do agree that everything around you has some kind of effect on it. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that that is the only governing effect. And there is a lot of things. So in Gita also, there's a specific shloka. I don't remember the exact shlok number and chapter and verse, but it says that any action that is done by anyone that is dependent upon three factors: knowledge base, basically the person who is acquiring that knowledge, and the knowledge that is already present in his mind, and the surroundings and all those things. So yeah, I mean that is a big influence, and that's how a lot of our actions, our everyday actions, are being planned. Like the way society shows us the things, we tend to do those things in that way. But again, I think that free will is a very important. In fact, it's a gift by the God to all the human beings. And the reason I'm saying this is that like even if you go about the cause effect thing, like every effect was produced by some cause before, but there is a kind of a randomness that has been introduced in this world. In very simple terms, I would say that if you just leave a ball from a height, it will fall down, and that is an order, that is the law, that is a consistency. So I think all the order that you see around yourself, that is basically planned by God's plan. It's all like everything, how the physics works and all those things. But everything that is chaotic, everything that is uncertain, that is a result of free will, whether it be the free will of God or whether it be the free will of any normal human being. And that is the one very strong reason which I feel that convinces me to go for the free will. So let me explain you why. So let's say if there was no free will in the world, there are people who are constantly suffering. There are people who are constantly thriving. There is a lot of variations out there. Now, if there was no free will, I think this there would be a homogenized effect across all the people, and somehow whoever is thinking that, like, let's say if I have a thought process and if I don't have a free will, then there would be a consistency across my thought process and the other person's thought process. Like we will all be in a way, we will be all programmed to think in a very uniform way, rather than but there are always differences of opinions and all those things. So yeah, I mean there is always a difference, and this difference, this randomness, even the second law of thermodynamics, which is basically talking about the entropy of universes, either for a closed system. In this case, if we consider this whole universe as a closed system, it's always either constant or it has to increase, it will never go back. So that randomness is always there, and that I think if I talk about like how I see the way, like of course there are some rules. We definitely don't have the choice to in if you go with Gita, we don't have the total control about our results or fruits of the work whatever we do, but we always have the choice to choose a path. And that path is basically what differentiates one individual from other. And if there was no free will, if everyone was supposed to do what they are supposed to do, then I think let's say if we are 10 entities, 10 souls, those 10 souls, all of them going through different things, I mean that would basically differentiate. Like if there is no free will, I don't think God will basically favor some particular soul over other, and their life journey would be different and all that. So in that sense, I think there is a very strong connection. Basically, God always, and I think this is a gift of God. We should take it open-handedly, and we should always welcome it, and we should use it, exercise it at correct places. And then once we basically exercise our free wills, and then we make the choices. Based on those choices, we walk a path. Now, what I think is this law, order, everything that is, God's plan, that would stay in the place. I mean, you are free to exercise your will, but you cannot decide what happens once you choose that path. It would be in a specific. It would be, like similar to a specific case in a certain way, but it's not like the end destination, how it's going to be or how it will turn out to be. But the thing is, if you make a choice of your path, now that path, how it is supposed to go, what all you will see and all, and in the next checkpoint, you are seeing lot of divergence and lot of branches there. So you keep on going, and then your path keeps on expanding, and then that path, how it goes, where it goes, is something that is definitely out of our control. But yeah, I mean, I think the way God has created us, or anyone else, not just us, anything that is happening around which is not in order, which basically deviates from, see, the statistics, we study statistics, we do a lot of predictions, we do data analysis and all those stuff. But again, statistics will be like, it will apply to 90% of the population. The reason it fails to apply to 10% is there is some kind of randomness, and this randomness is never going to go away. It could be due to different things, but yeah, I mean, it definitely turns events for a lot of people. So that is something which always, like, you will see it in sports, you will see it in what do I say, art, you will see it everywhere, like uncertainty kind of thing. A team which is winning continuously will suddenly, if I relate to this World Cup, cricket World Cup, which happened, India won all its matches, and it was coming as a very strong contender. Not a single match they lost, and then they lost it at the final World Cup. So yeah, I mean, this could be due to lots of things that is going around, and lots of things that happens. Maybe some decisions that players took, maybe something related to weather conditions, maybe something related to their motivation. These things come in, and again, and there is one more thing that I think is, 99% of your decisions or whatever you have in your mind is being influenced by your previous karmas, your environment surrounding whichever you are conditioned to. But there is always this 1% thing, and the more you get closer to God, the more you get, out of this, I would say, materialistic things, which is again very difficult thing. I mean, it's very hard, but I think that, influencing thing that basically happens to your mind and your body, that starts to fade away. And there is a lot of strong influence of these external factors in your decision making. But as you be more aware of yourself, as you do a lot of practice, meditation, whatever you call, you get closer to, God. So that is something that I believe is very much in this world. And yeah, I mean, other than that, I think, if we talk about different references, like, if we talk about the references in previous times, like as Saurabh mentioned, Duryodhana took a decision. So he said that he is not, I mean, the way he cannot, I think the way he was saying is that he cannot justify his actions to be right. But at the end of the day, he did what he wanted. Like, if in his mind he had this thing that, irrespective of whatever my brothers are going to have, irrespective of whatever my like family is going to have, I want to do this. And then he made that choice. And even in the Bhagavad Gita, I think last chapter, I think 18th chapter,
Yeah.
Krishna himself, after giving the entire knowledge of Gita to Arjun, he told him that, now I leave it to your wish as you follow it. And I'm definitely sure, like, a lot of people who read Gita for the first time, or even after some time, they may not be very aligned with that principles. Like, people they have their reasons to justify their deeds. So we, if the God has to enforce his thought process in every human being, or somehow, transfer it, then I think he would have done it in a very proper way, maintaining the order. But the small tail that he left in, we can say randomness, or we can say uncertainty, whatever. I think there he gave an option for all of us to exercise our free wills. And coming to the causality effect, like, everything that is happening has a previous cause. Agreed, no doubt about it. Everything has a cause, but how that cause is governed has multiple factors. It is, as I told, previous environment conditioning, people around you, your desires, your interests, and so on. But there is also one particular element of free will inside that, and if you exercises it, I mean, if you properly make use of it, then that particular thing will govern. And there are like lots of instances in the books where people actually refer to not just in like Hinduism mythology, but a lot other books also, where people actually refer to, there are some things through which you can actually make your creation proud of, basically creator proud of its creation. So there are those facilities that God has given. So in a very straight perspective, I would like to say that, of course, we don't have the complete control over our destiny, or we don't have the complete control over our results. Like whatever we want to achieve, we can give it a try, definitely. But that doesn't mean that we don't have control over to change things that are going around us. So let's say if I am today, I want to be if I'm a bad person, I want to turn out to be a good person. Based on the paths that I follow, it will have its own consequences, it will have its own results, and it will take to its own destiny. But yeah, you always have to choice to pick one of those. Like if you are always given choices like 5, 10, 20, 50, how many ever paths, and then based on whatever you pick, your next phase of your life or your death or whatever, it goes around, and then it keeps on going like that. So yeah, I mean, in total, I would say that is how you can exercise your free will. And there are a lot of experiments also. Like if I talk about I mean, I like to relate things. Of course, this is not very rigid, but again, that is how it helps me. Like I look into things and try to relate and connect them, so that helps me understand things better. So just imagine like the way artificial intelligence and all these things are evolving. So when we do the model training, we have a goal set for the model, and then we do some programming to train these AI agents to follow specific rules and then reach the destination. But even in that case, like, okay, this machine learning model, let's say it's supposed to detect the faces correctly, that's fine. But the way the model is training, the hyper parameter tuning, and there are some models like which basically go back and train, update the input reading and all those things. So like convolutional neural networks and all those things. So there we come back, tune, and optimize the model so it goes very accurate. But again, in there also, there even as a human beings, whatever it is happening, this may not be very related to how humans were created versus, but there was there is an uncertainty. Like for example, there was a Facebook chatbots that were trained, and they were supposed to talk, they started talking with each other, and then they created their own language within that small duration, which was totally unknown to humans. Like they were not expecting that to happen. So yeah, I mean, in the world there is always the scope of randomness, even though for us it's very hard to create random things. But the way they were trained, and the way the more free will you give to things, it will be able to exercise it. And similarly, I think the God also has given a very strong free will, and He also wants to. You can say that this whole thing going around, based on every decision that I'm taking today, my future would be different, and it can branch out to multiple futures and so on. I mean, that's again a different topic. But yeah, in all and all, I would say that you always have a choice to take a path, and based on that your next path will come out. But
Right.
that doesn't mean that if you are sitting here today, everything around you is very predestined, and you're supposed to follow exactly that. And yeah, I think that kind of and even Krishna Bhagwan has mentioned in Gita a lot of places that as a god, he does not need to perform any duties. He does not need to set up an example, but he always did those so that the people who see him can again take it as an example. Now 10 people will take up 10 different examples, and they will follow that dharma in a different way. But he keeps on mentioning this to Arjun that, okay, I have these things, I am showing you, I'm setting up an example, I'm doing my duties so that the people who watch me know that how important is the role of karma and all. And again, he never said that I will enforce, even if they don't follow, I'll enforce and they will end up following my rules. He just says that I am setting an example so that others can look at me and accordingly move forward. And so I think in that way, he clearly indicates that, and at the end of the day, it's always your decision. There are factors, there are things like nature, and in fact, Krishna Bhagavan in himself says like you are supposed to nature and everything will pull you to a specific direction. It will get you attached to the world. It will worldly pleasures, materialism, and so on, but you're supposed to escape that and go. And how will you go it? He gave this all Gita Gyan to Arjuna, and through Arjuna it flew to us. But yeah, I mean, even after that, there's a lot of people who are still trapped. So at the same time, he always talks about this, and he himself said that, okay, there is a way to, exercise your true nature. You can like pray to me, worship me, and so on, and do all those things to get close to me. And there's a lot of things that he gave examples. So I mean, yeah, if I interpret it in that way, it makes me feel like Krishna Bhagavan has always given us a free will as a biggest gift for a human, and based on how we exercise our free wills is what will take us to closer to him or maybe far away. I think yeah, that's what I wanted to discuss, and yeah, I'll close here.
Yeah, that's very nicely put up, Shivam. I think you've raised some very good points. And yeah, the fact that the Facebook thing that you said, even I saw a video on Twitter about Geoffrey Hinton talking about conversational neural networks. And he said something like after training the model on billions of parameters, they were themselves surprised when they saw the actual prediction. So even they didn't know. So that is
Yes.
also, and what you are essentially trying to ascribe is to sort of not become a fatalist, like, okay, everything is decided by God, so I'll just throw in the towel on life and not do my actions. Because here, like, I wanted to show another shloka from chapter 3 verse 33. He will say, Even wise people act according to the natures, for all living beings are propelled by their natural tendencies. What will one gain by repression?" So Krishna Bhagavan is saying that, yeah, you should always act I mean, like, as you said, you have been given the power, so use it. And there was I think in chapter 2 also, where he says that your bodily function won't be possible without doing actions. So yeah, doing your actions is very important. But what I want to bring, I want to say that the you do your actions, but know that everything, if things go your way, well and good. If things don't go your way, then also well and good. And when you know that everything is like already decided by Krishna, you will not feel bad when things don't go your way, right? Because there is some autonomous self-governing force that you call God or nature, or that is the one in actual control. So the thought that if things don't go my way, I'm not going to ponder about the subject. I'm not going to blame, or I'm not going to just keep thinking about, oh, though, ain't it so bad, ain't so bad. I'm not going to do all that. I'm going to think that, okay, I gave my best, but the results were in the hands of Krishna. So, and ascribing to this view is going to make me, deal with tough situations in a more mature way rather than thinking about the subject. So, this thought that some things are predestined, will enable me to deal with tough situations in life. But at the same time, as you said, that you have been endowed with the power of intellect. So use it doesn't mean you subscribe to some dogmatic view and not perform your daily actions, and keep continuing what you're doing, but know that everything is done by nature. That is going to keep you grounded, and that is also going to allow you to do the correct thing, not do adharma. So that is what I wanted to bring up. And there's one more. I've been like reading some parts of the Yoga Vashishta, that is the dialogue between the God incarnate Rama and his guru Vashishta, where he tells him that in one of this, I haven't read the entire book, but I keep reading some bits. I think I see them on Twitter, and it really is motivating. So here he says, Guru Vashishta says that you're not the doer of any action here, O Rama. So why do you assume doership when one alone exists? Who does what and how? Do not become inactive either, for what is gained by doing nothing? What has to be done has to be done. Therefore, rest in the self, even while doing all actions nature to you. If you are unattached to those actions, you are truly the non-doer. If you are doing nothing and are attached to that non-doership, you become the doer, and so on, right? So he's also kind of ascribing to Krishna's philosophy of karma yoga, where you keep doing, but without being unattached. So this feeling of this notion of not having free will is both it can be a good thing and a bad thing. It can be a good thing when when you know that everything, you do your thing, you have been giving that intellect, so do the correct thing. It can be bad when you kind of think, okay, everything is done by Krishna and everything is done by nature, so I'm not going to do my thing. That is just stupid, because Krishna Bhagavan has said in like so many adhyas, that even in chapter 14, where he said that it's bad to just think of some God is the one in control and you're not doing anything. Here also, what has one gained by repression? And there are like so many dialogues in other Yoga Vashishta dialogues that we can discuss about sometime. So yeah, that is all I wanted to say. And yeah, so to conclude, that's what I would like to say, that know that do your action, use the intellect that that has been provided to you by the gift of Krishna. Do it. Don't be like an animal and just rely on pure instincts. Do what is the right thing, but know that the outcome and everything, whatever the cause, is already decided by the God. So that will enable you to do the right thing and not also get deterred when things don't go your way. I think in today's life, like things are so common, right? Sometimes we don't get a job or something happens that doesn't fall in our wish. So accept it as a will of God, will of God, and keep continuing what you're doing. So yeah, with that, like if you have any concluding remarks, Shivam, we'll just end this. And yeah, if you have anything to put to conclude.
Yeah, I think I am in alignment with what you said. So, I like, yeah, basically, if we have, sorry, yeah,
Yep.
basically, if we have, yeah, I mean, of course, just do your karma and always try to exercise whatever you have. And, you can say a positive energy that's residing within you,
Right.
and always try to focus on what, like, yeah, there's a lot of things that will happen from your conscious mind, there's a lot of things that will happen from your subconscious mind, but end of the day, whatever actions you take until that point, that is fine. And whatever is the result, whatever is the path, that is, of course, the actions is basically something that is performed by the God through you, but you get the chance to become the medium to
Right.
deliver those actions, and always try to walk that path which I think which takes you to the, which you get the feeling that it is the right path, and then try to be the medium of all the right actions that that could be delivered. So that way it is it is good. And of course, don't just sit back and think that, okay, since everything is decided, pre-decided, and everything is going to happen the way it is going to happen, so there's no role of myself. There is always yeah, as I said, based on what you do in present, God is not determined your exact end of the you can say life trajectory or wherever, but God has decided and defined the paths, and based on those paths there would be some actions, based on those actions there would be some outcomes, and so on. But in order to walk, I mean, you are always free to walk the right path which you choose, and then go on and then exercise your right, your free will or duties and everything. And yeah, live a very fulfilling and life dedicated completely to God and to His service. And I think that way you will feel fulfilled, you will feel better, and you will maybe attain the moksha and mukti. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was a good discussion with a little bit of preparedness. Probably next time we can discuss about death or the end goal. And yeah, let's see. We'll meet sometime soon. And nice chatting with you, Shivam. Let's continue this probably in the next week or so. Yeah. See you.
Sure then. See you, man. Bye bye.